You're listening to Crystal and Emily on Love Your Shelf, the best librarian podcast in the extensive and highly competitive field of librarian podcasts. Hello. Are you ready to get started?
I am ready to roll.
All right. Well, wait, what episode is it? Episode 16.
16.
Yeah. So we have been doing this for months now. It's wild.
Yeah.
And
we're practically professionals. Isn't that what that means?
I think it's 10,000 hours.
Oh, got it. I got confused.
Yeah. So I was telling you earlier that, we have a Wakelet where I've just been putting links to all the stuff that we're talking about, and that we have surpassed 200 items, things that we've either shows or books or movies or whatever that we've talked about, podcasts, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, we're busy.
And
busy entertaining ourselves.
Exactly. And we're consuming all of that outside of work time.
Oh,
so
right.
Yeah, we're amazing, basically.
Just some multitaskers.
Right. Well, I want to start off with talking about a book that I read last night. So that tells you that I just consumed it, in one sitting, basically.
How much sleep did you get?
I've been yawning all day, so
right.
Yeah. But it's really small book. It's short. It's only 200 pages, and they're small pages. Mm-hmm. It's like a tiny little book. But it's called Weather by Jenny Offel. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. It's Offill. So it's either pronounced Offel, like the gross word, or awful, like she's an awful person. So
right.
I don't know which is better. It's sort of an unfortunate name.
I'd like to think that she'd forgive you.
I hope so.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, she is not awful, though. She is amazing. And the book, as I said, is Weather. And it just came out, and we have a copy of it at the library. So in the book, Weather, and apparently this is, I as soon as I finished this book, I looked to see if she had any others. And so I'll talk about the other one too. But so it seems to be that this is her pattern. It's not just in this one novel, but she writes in these little snippets that are like sort of unconnected or seemingly unconnected short paragraphs. Almost as if she is like making a note. It's in first person. So it's like the person is sort of marking their thoughts throughout the day, sort of. And it never sort of explains the timeline. So it jumps from, well, you can't tell, like, if it's been a year or 10 minutes between those segments,
I see.
And it is a little bit, I wouldn't say confusing, because you just roll with it, but you could just give up on trying to figure that out, Right. And so it's about a woman who works in a library. We love those. And she works in an academic library, and that's not her field. She's sort of a failed academic, and she just lands in the library. And she also takes a job working with this woman who has a podcast and travels the country talking about basically end of the world stuff. And so there's these interjections throughout the book of what's going on with all of these Looney Tune people who follow the podcast woman who... Nice. Yeah. And so even though she's not necessarily a total kook, everybody that listens to her is. And the main character is married and has a child, and then so they're working through their own understanding of how things are going, and all of these ideas about how um, I mean, I guess the world is going to end, basically. Um, and I'm not doing the book justice by talking about it, but it is funny. I mean, it's dark a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and she's sarcastic, and the you know the character's pretty self-deprecating, and it's a really honest voice because it's almost like I said, it's almost like she's writing in a journal or something. So she's not,
I love that.
yeah, and so she's not uh, expecting that anybody's reading it, basically.
Right, right.
Um, anyway, so Weather is the book. Get it? It's very good. The other
How
book that,
fun.
yeah, the other book that she wrote is called The Department of Speculation, and I just picked it
Good
up.
title.
Yeah, I know. I just picked it up, and it was written in 2014, and it's um, basically about a marriage. It seems.
Hmm.
Um, so I haven't finished it because I did have to sleep, and
Unfortunately, boring.
yes, but I'm planning to finish it probably tonight when I go home. So,
Nice.
yes, very happy to have found her. Although 6 years between books is going to be unfortunate. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
we're impatient, don't you know?
yeah, get after it. Then another book that I read was another good title, The Standardization of Demoralization Procedures.
Ooh,
Yeah, and
say that
it's
5 times fast.
I almost couldn't say it one time. So the author is Jennifer Hoffman, and this is also a new book that just came out. And it takes place over the course of one day,
Hmm.
and it's in 1989,
Hmm.
and it's the main character is a operative in East Berlin, and he's an old man at this point.
Hmm.
And it's sort of like it takes off as it's going to be like a Cold War spy novel,
Uh-huh.
um, but it turns into like a black comedy kind of thing.
Okay.
And so it's him over just this one day, but he has memories, and he's um, looking for a missing girl, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. But the title refers to a manual that he wrote back in the 60s about how to demoralize those who are running against the party line. Which,
Oh,
I mean, that's just it's perfect. Like
it
that,
is.
like um,
Hmm.
demoralizing someone is such a. Anyway, he becomes famous, or he becomes very successful because of this, and so you can kind of get a sense of the type of humor that's
Oh,
running through it.
yeah, cool.
And then the last book um, that I read was T minus AI, and it has a long subtitle, Humanity's Countdown to Artificial Intelligence and the New Pursuit of Global Power. Um,
Say that 5 times fast.
is by Michael Kanan, and he is in the Air Force, and he's the chairperson for artificial intelligence. So this is not a novel. This is nonfiction, and it is pretty scary. I remember in college, so this was in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
We had a class. I had a class on artificial intelligence,
Uh-huh.
and it was, I mean, it was very silly. it was all, it was
I
all,
would love to, yeah, witness that class in the 90s.
yes, yeah.
That sounds fun, entertaining.
It was hilarious, and it was essentially science fiction. It was
Right,
all
right.
speculation. There's that word again.
Yeah.
And but now it's so widely. Well, basically, what he says is that the countdown to artificial intelligence is over. Like it's already here. It's
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
and it talks about how
We're just waiting for it to grow.
exactly, and don't know exactly how that's going to work.
Right.
But I mean, it's a little bit dry.
Hmm.
It's not like a page turner, but
Hmm.
uh, he does present it in a way, that's not science fiction or speculative. It's um, sort of a clear-headed, here's what's happening and here's how we are dealing with it. Here's how other countries are dealing with it. And
Mm-hmm.
it talks about how China and Russia are using AI for disinformation and authoritarian rule, obviously. So,
All right.
yeah, so we don't want to be like that.
No, no.
So, anyway, I recommend it. It's if you know something about it, he still is like one of the foremost experts. And then if you don't know anything about it, then it's really useful information. So,
Cool.
yeah. So that was my weekly reading. How about you?
Well, I finally started a little old book called Circe by Madeline Miller, if anyone has ever heard of it. If anyone does not know, that is our NEA big read book for this year. Come pick one up in the library lobby. So yeah, I mean, everyone has been raving about it. Um, and I'm a few chapters in, and so far so good. And on that note, you and I, as you know, have been sort of researching some kids' books that touch on Greek mythology, just so we can, so the kids can kind of be involved in our NEA activities in October. And we got them in recently, these books, and I'm really excited. They're really cute and funny. We have some board books. Those are called mini myths, and they're so cute. In the beginning, they have, well, first of all, they have titles like Be Patient Pandora, Be Careful Icarus. My favorite is Brush Your Hair Medusa, and Don't Get Lost Odysseus. Those are just some that I really like. But they're so cute. I mean, these are definitely more preschool age, and they're more about like these little characters experience. It's like they're actual children
Yeah.
with parents, and dealing with child problems. But then at the back there's a little page that touches on what this actual myth was. And I think they're so adorable. And then another series that we just got is called Mythomania. Oh, I didn't mention, I'm sorry. The board books are by Joan Holub and Leslie Patricelli. Hope I said that right. And now we have Mythomania. This is a chapter book series by Kate McMullen. And again, some great titles. This one has Keep a Lid on It, Pandora, Stop That Bull, Theseus, Have a Hot Time, Hades, Stay Cheese, Medusa. And I haven't read any of these, but I'm just really excited even by the cover. And I think we'll have those added to the library catalog really soon. So we're excited to share those with you all.
Yeah, I cannot wait for all of the discussions that we're going to have surrounding Circe. We just to sort of talk about that for a minute, because
Mm-hmm.
we have put out some posted on the website what our events are going to be, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll be opening those up for registration soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm gonna pat us on the back and say we have an amazing lineup of stuff that's going to happen.
Yes, despite everything,
Yeah,
despite our limitations,
yeah,
I'm excited and proud of us too.
yeah, and people are very excited about the book, and they have. I was telling you earlier that people have just overwhelmingly. I haven't had one person say that wasn't my cup of tea, or I
Mm-hmm.
didn't enjoy that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a first. I mean,
Yep.
we even tell people that with the big read, we know that every book is not going to appeal to every person,
Right.
but the concept, the point, the reason that we're doing it is because that shared reading experience has value.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always good to stretch your boundaries, your expectations, and try something.
Definitely.
But this one people have really responded to, so
Yeah.
I can't wait. And we are going to have events like Manifest Your Muse Creative Expo, and artists are coming up with their responses to the book, and we're going to have those featured downtown, so and outside, so that people can view them, while social distancing and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And we're doing a short story contest, and like to tie into the books that you're talking about, we want kids to be involved too, because the book is based on Greek myth, and so we want them to learn about that era as well.
Right.
And they're doing, or you're working on STEAM programs for them, story times that are related to it, arts and crafts that are related to it. I'm doing some programs for adults that's going to be like jewelry making and woven crafts and things like that'll tie in thematically to stuff that happens in the book. So anyway, little plug for the big read coming up in October.
Oh yeah, it's our whole life right now. Well, moving outside of that, you want to move into television?
Yeah. What you got?
Well, again, I was telling Crystal right before this that I'm not the person that's typically not the one out of the two of us discovering new media. I'm rediscovering, not even rediscovering, discovering for the first time things that have been out for a while. So if this isn't a new recommendation for anyone, I hope it's just maybe a helpful reminder that maybe you should revisit something. I watched the movie City Slickers for the first time and was super pleasantly surprised. Like I didn't think it seemed super appealing. I love Billy Crystal, don't get me wrong, but it's hilarious. So if anyone hasn't watched that movie in a while, it's on Hulu. I recommend that. And then I watched The Outsider on HBO. I think you mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. Maybe who knows? What is time?
Yeah.
It might have been a month ago. But that's The Outsider, and it is based on a Stephen King and a Stephen King book. I didn't finish that sentence, but it was really good. It was the right amount of creepy. It moved slowly, but in a good way. Like yeah, like slowly revealed itself, and makes you want to stick around. It's embarrassing how quickly I finished it.
Well, you don't really see that happening much, where people just
Right.
where filmmakers or showrunners or whatever just really take their time and build to a crescendo. They usually are just tossing the monsters at you or whatever.
Right. And it's like lots of big monsters at once. And I feel like this was like, and first of all, the overall sort of questionable, creepy thing that's happening is so bizarre. Like I've just never encountered anything like that in a story. And you have to get to the bottom of it. So I really recommend The Outsider. It's dark, but I think it was really well done.
Yeah, and the what part of the main creep factor is that it's about your identity.
Right.
And
like something maybe taking over your identity, and
but they don't
I don't
know, and
it's so many questions.
Yeah, it's very good.
Anyway, what about you?
Well, I, on the monster front, have been watching Lovecraft Country on HBO.
I need to watch the third episode.
Yeah. So there are only 3 episodes. I think the fourth one comes out tonight or comes out this weekend.
I think Sunday.
Oh.
Or maybe you're right. No, you might be right. It might be tonight. Anyway.
But I am not one for, well, I don't know. People that have been listening to this would probably say, no, Crystal, you watch lots of horror and stuff like that. I was going to say, I'm not really one for that. But this is sort of like the opposite end of the spectrum from The Outsider, in that there are lots of big monsters and scary stuff, and it's sort of over the top. but what I think is the most interesting thing about it is that it is also set in the 50s and deals with
Mm-hmm.
race and all of those complicated things, and really juxtaposes the monster of racism with these like scary ghosts or whatever,
Yeah.
creatures. And
Yeah.
I think that it really does, make you think that the and I don't want to give anything away in the third episode, but there's a lot of backlash and confrontations,
Mm,
and those things are even scarier than the supernatural.
absolutely. Yeah. Like that stuff is what makes my stomach turn
Yeah, because
when I'm watching
it
that.
exactly, because it's real, it's history, it really happened,
Right. Right.
and is still happening, and
The
so
monsters feel like, an escape. It's a sci-fi movie.
right,
But
because you can fight those, you
exactly.
know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Um oh, I had something to say about that. Never mind. Keep going.
we can come back to it if you want, but
Okay. Okay, if I
um,
remember, I'll let you know.
yeah. But if you're into that kind of thing, it is like, as I said, it's over the top and it's gory and has
Mhm.
some real shocker moments.
I know what I was going to say. That I mean, granted, I've only watched the first two episodes, but just sort of what I've seen as far as advertisements and clips from other episodes and stuff, it seems like every episode is really different.
Mm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
is that correct? Going into the third
Yes.
episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's the the characters are staying the same, so it's still
Right.
about them, but it is almost like in the tone or approach of Twilight Zone, which we talked about before, where
Yeah.
they kind of almost stand alone. Um, I mean,
The
yeah,
first and the second episodes were almost, I mean, it was almost like two different stories. I mean, again, same
mm-hmm.
characters, their thoughts and feelings and problems, are fluid, but I don't know, the chaos they encounter is completely different from one episode to the next.
Yeah, and the setting changes and everything. So yeah, you could almost just watch each one independently. Um,
uh,
I've also finished this week the Watchmen, or Watchmen on HBO.
you finished it?
I did, and it was really
I'm
good.
so excited.
It's 9 episodes,
Uh-huh.
so it's not a whole lot to deal with, but um, I thought it was really good,
I loved it.
and
I
I
just loved it.
I was excited to see that it had come out, although from the promotional stuff, I was that's why I put it off so long watching. It's been out for a while, but I put off watching it because I just didn't think they didn't do a great job with the promotional stuff. But
Right, okay.
I did. I really it was very good, and I had actually Watchmen, the graphic novel,
Mm-hmm.
um, was part of my dissertation research. So I'm pretty familiar with it,
Yeah.
and anyway, so I was very pleasantly surprised by how good it was.
Yeah, after because I did not read the graphic novel. I saw the movie and when it came out and did not love it. Um but this show was something that I was just flipping around and saw it and hit play, which I never do. I usually have to psych myself up. Um
Hmm.
and when you told me that had, read and studied the graphic novel, I was interested to see what you thought. So I didn't even realize you'd started it, and I'm so excited.
I burned through that one, and I thought that the casting was really surprising. Like um, Jean Smart, who was in Designing Women, that's her claim to fame.
Wait,
Um,
which character was that?
she plays the lady agent, the
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Agent Blake. Um,
Yes.
but so when I saw that she was going to be in it, I was like, well, that's a super weird choice. But she did a great job. It was amazing.
And Regina King is a queen.
Yeah, yeah. No, oh yeah, she carried the show for sure.
I just adore her.
Yeah. And then finally, the last thing, and I guess I watched this last week, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a documentary on Netflix, a documentary series called High
Mm-hmm.
Score,
Mm-hmm.
and it is interviews and sort of and like the history of video games. So it's like all the early ones and all of these people who were developing like Pac-Man and stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've not heard of this. Very cool.
it's good. It's like it's just some nostalgia baked into it, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and but uh, anyway, I would definitely recommend it if you grew up gaming like I did. Um, it's really interesting, and there's a lot of people who, that's such a fast-paced, constantly changing world,
Yeah.
and even in the very beginning, it was like that. It was very competitive
Oh,
and
that makes sense. Okay.
yeah.
I've always been out of touch with that world, so
I am now, but I used to be way more up on
Oh, I
the
wanted
newest
to
thing.
be. My parents just weren't fan. Like if I was at a friend's house, I could play a video game, but we just didn't have them at home and I was forever jealous. So
Oh, we would have to fight my parents to get the controllers back. Like they, they were into it. Like this, like
and the thing is, I feel like my dad would have dangerously gotten addicted to that to
oh yeah,
playing if we had had them. Yeah.
we got the first Nintendo, and I can remember just watching my dad and my brother, playing Super Mario Brothers or whatever, and
Uh-huh.
that I would dream in it. Like I
Yeah.
would dream about like jumping and
Hopping
busting bullets.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. um, but now video games are wild.
It is. I
But
mean, my fiance will play, oh, I don't know, these battle games, and I'll hear like little kids talking,
oh
because they'll
yeah,
have their speakers on, and I'm just like, where is that child's mother? Like that language. I
yeah.
feel like an old lady,
I,
basically.
well, it is. It's just so vastly different from. Well, there was that one of the interviews in the documentary is with this woman who was um, a child and went. I can't remember which one it was.
Hmm.
Um, Space Armada, maybe. Anyway,
Hmm.
one where you just like a little gun and you scroll back and forth across the bottom and you shoot the things coming out of the sky.
Okay.
And she was like um, picked out. She like entered like a regional contest and won it in the most, like, basically you want to last as long as you can in that game.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And then she went to like a national
Whoa.
competition and they like flew her out there. And
Huh?
I mean, this was like a big deal, and that still is like such a big
Yes.
business. Even, I mean, obviously way more so now because everybody's a YouTuber and they're all
Right.
putting out all of their game videos, which I didn't. I'm not fully. I don't fully understand those because I'm happy to watch, to be
Sure.
just a bystander and watch like a really cool game because I'm
Hmm.
not great at working the controls.
No.
And so I get frustrated. But like my brother or my nephew, I'll watch them play a game. But it's also that you know I want to spend time with them, so I don't.
Right, and you're involved. You can say, "Oh, go over there or watch
Oh
out,"
yeah, I
like you're
100% do that.
involved. You're in the room.
Yeah, I'm telling them everything to do. Um,
And they're not doing
and,
it.
well, my brother was really good about it. My nephew, he likes to do his own thing, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. But I don't fully get just watching somebody else play a video game on YouTube.
Yeah,
But
without the
apparently,
interaction.
yeah, apparently it is fascinating though because millions of
Oh
people
yeah.
are doing that.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well,
so that's basically, I think that's all the stuff that I've
yeah, we'll
consumed this week.
end on a video game note.
Yeah, right.
Who saw that coming?
Well, I do want to say something that I'm loving this week
Yeah.
is, and we are just nerding out over here on Bitmoji and making a virtual library.
Okay, but for real though,
Yeah.
like I feel like we're a little gleeful about it.
Oh yeah. I love it. And so
Hmm.
we've put that up. We put it on the website, and we posted on, social media. But it's basically um, just a little document, essentially, I guess is what you'd have to call it, but a presentation of little virtual rooms with little virtual people that are us, and
Hmm. Hmm.
our book recommendations, or like shelves of new books, because we recognize that, our patrons and I do the same thing. Is, we like to just browse and look and see
Right.
what's new. And since we can't do that right now, we decided to make a virtual place to do
Hmm.
that. So I'm hoping that people find that useful. Uh,
Yeah,
and
it's a
then
good way to, I mean, I have tons of new arrivals in the children's area, trying to spend some of that money that I built up while we were away from the library, which is super fun. But yeah, we've just found that this is a really good way for me to post, because receiving new children's books, especially the picture books, is a little bit different than any of the adult books, because, sometimes I'll receive 50 books at a time if I
hmm
put in a big order. And so this is a way to kind of, give people a chance to see what we're getting in.
Yeah, and I do want to remind everybody too that we're here in the library. The lobby is open for appointments to come in, and you can um, make selections online, and then
Hmm.
we'll package them up for you and bring them out to you curbside, um, which I think or people have said that they really love that service. So,
Really
uh,
though,
but I don't know
I
if everybody
that's
knows. But
one thing I am all about. I'm all about doing grocery pickup orders, anything where I don't have to get out of my car.
oh, I know, I've been so bad, especially on the weekends. I'm like, okay, what if I'm like hungry? What's something that I can just drive through, even though I don't want to drive through
Yes, I
food?
don't want to eat Taco Bell. Right.
Yeah, but I will find something.
Yep.
All right.
Well,
So that's it. We'll be back next week for episode
yeah.
17. And hopefully
Have a
we'll.
good long weekend, right?
Oh, yes, it's a long weekend time. It's Friday.
Excited.
Yeah. Enjoy Labor Day, and everybody stay safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Afraid you missed one of our scintillating selections? Check out wakelet.com, and you'll find a collection of all of the titles that we have mentioned on our podcast.